the peerless necromancer known as the corpse god, dismembering soldiers with his magical abilities. With soldiers unable to subjugate him, a legendary hero known as the Calamity Crusher was sent in to fight him. After a hard-fought battle, the hero managed to kill corpse god. However, just before the hero's sword pierced him, the necromancer cast a spell which reincarnated him into the body of one Polka Shinoyama. Upon waking up, corpse god realized he was in the body of a boy with a split throat, as he found it difficult to speak. This is when a drone is seen monitoring Shinoyama, with a guy on the other end being amazed that the boy was still alive. Corpse god, dazed by the new world he was in, walked around the city in awe of the architecture and technology. He was then apprehended by 2 cops due to his blood-stained shirt and his split throat. Before they could interrogate him, however, a girl named Misaki Sakimiya came to his rescue and ran away with him. Running into a desolate alley, the girl then revealed that she was an assassin who was tasked with killing Shinoyama. Following this, she questioned him on how he was alive after she jammed a crowbar through his throat earlier. Corpse god then accessed past memories of his body and found out that this girl was the one responsible for the death of Shinoyama. Thus, he ran for his life, being chased by Misaki with the intention to kill her target once more. Being backed into a corner, corpse god ran into a building that used to be a famous Yakuza execution ground. With his evil eye, he saw ghosts being present in a particular room of the building. This helped him activate his magical abilities, which he used to kill Misaki by piercing her with a gigantic skeletal hand. The episode ended with Calamity Crusher talking about his job still not being fully done. He felt there was activation of a spell at the last moment, which was akin to teleportation magic. However, his worries were put to rest with the body of corpse god in front of him, and the church saying that there was no trace of his soul being in this realm. A flashback of corpse god's life was shown, shedding light on how his own parents sold him to court sorcerers. From there, he fought as a necromancer until the empire eventually crumbled. After the downfall, he retreated into seclusion with the sole desire to live a peaceful life. However, the humans of his world did not leave him alone and even went so far as to burn the innocent children he had helped. This heinous act sparked a fire within corpse god, leading him to seek revenge on those who had wronged him. He then waited centuries in his lair before he was slayed by Calamity Crusher. Following his flashback, the backstory of Misaki Sakimiya was revealed, and viewers saw her parents being murdered by an assassin. The assassin in question was later hunted down and killed by her, as she ended up becoming a killer herself. She only killed killers but then wanted to try her hand at killing someone innocent, with Polka Shinoyama being her last job. After killing the boy, she thought that the next big adventure would be killing herself, leading to her jumping off the roof, only to be interrupted by Takumi, who said her job wasn't finished yet. This is where the flashback came to a close, as Misaki woke up, being welcomed by her intermediary Clarissa and a group of assassins. She and Polka then informed Misaki that she's still 100% dead. The story was then rewinded 40 minutes prior to her revival, where Clarissa was seen confronting Polka regarding the murder of her friend. While conversing, Polka requested that they wait while he healed Misaki. In the meantime, Clarissa received information from her informant Takumi Kuruya that the Shikuzawa building was on fire. When questioned, she informed Polka that there was an unregistered nursery in that building, caring for Yakuza orphans and children whose mothers worked in the nightlife biz. This prompted Polka to use his necromancer abilities to save the children from the fire, being assisted and monitored by Takumi. The episode then shifted back to the present once more, where Polka was seen asking Clarissa what it would take to find peace in this new world. She responded by saying money, before deciding to help him adjust and assigning Misaki and Takumi to the task. Takumi guides him to the building, and with the help of the dead parents' souls, the corpse god manages to save everyone. Polka moved into the torture building with the help of Takumi and a pair of skeletons. Later, they talked about Polka's family, which quickly led to a discussion about the other world from which he originated. Polka disclosed to Takumi that he was regarded as an abomination in his world, and people tried to destroy him. Polka also revealed that he was a colossal skeleton monster in his world and was referred to as the corpse god. He then explained to Takumi that he could finally achieve peace by talking down the person who had ordered the hit on him. When Takumi asked why Polka didn't ask Clarissa about the client, he replied that he did, but Clarissa allowed him to use the floor in exchange for keeping the secret. Polka also mentioned that Clarissa had agreed not to accept any further contracts on his demise. Hearing this, Takumi informed him that there are other intermediary assassins other than Clarissa as well. However, according to him, there aren't that many people who can kill Polka except maybe lemmings. They then talked about Misaki, where Polka revealed that his body's owner, the actual Polka Shinoyama, had told him to forgive her and that his soul was now in Takumi's drone. The three of them then talked about jobs Polka could be good at when a guy came to Misaki asking her to help him handle another gang's hitman. Polka accepted the job and the two of them went to the house the hitmen were in. However, they were ambushed, and despite the trap, Misaki managed to handle multiple enemies pretty easily before getting shot twice. Thinking she's dead, the attackers turned their attention to Polka, who revealed to them that Misaki had become a zombie and was now immune to bullets. Following that, Polka used a pair of giant skeleton hands to crush the enemies into a ball of dirt, avenging the dead spirits of children. We then saw Clarissa and her two underlings relaxing, after which the remaining gang members were taken out by a mysterious entity. Clarissa then spoke on the phone to the person who put out the hit on Polka, telling them that things were on a halt, which essentially meant that they had backed out of the assassination. The episode then introduces Tsubaki Iwanome and Kozaburo Arrays, both working as detectives who investigate cases that border on the occult. Polka revealed that Misaki's saliva was paralyzing and that she was now stronger but less sensitive than before. The episode ended with Lemmings appearing right where Polka squashed those gang members and cracked the ball of dirt open. This led to the police finding out the bodies and calling Tsubaki Iwano and Kozaburo Arrays to investigate due to the case being of occult in nature. Iwano talking to his comps, 3 group members about the troublemakers they took down over the years and also about the 3 troublemakers still at large, Grim Reaper, Fire-Breathing Bug, and Lemmings. To this list, he added the appearance of skeletons and the human knot that was recently found, transferring the original soul of Polka Shinoyama into a shark stuffed animal. After that, he went with Misaki to a jewelry shop to buy stones that are rich in mana. However, seeing the price of the stones, they left feeling dejected. On their way back, the 2 of them crossed paths with Detective Arrays, who caught Takumi's drone that was hovering above Polka and Misaki. While Polka asked the drone back, it was ordered by Arrays to cut ties with Takumi. This angered Polka and he activated his evil eye, which made Arrays retreated back in a flash. Takumi then gave the backstory of how he crossed paths with Arrays when he used to run intel for a gang, revealing how Arrays took down 8 of the gang's toughest fighters in no time. Takumi tried to persuade Arrays to let his friends go, which led to the detective taunting him for being brave now that there was a distance between them, and revealed how Takumi sold out his friends in the past. With the situation growing tense, Misaki quickly moved to Array's blind spot that made the detective react instinctively, giving Misaki the opportunity to kick him and claim it as self-defense. The duo then ran away from the scene but end up going to the bar where Clarissa worked, which also happened to be where Iwano was at. This led to the detective urging the 2 of them to answer a few questions, with his partner Arrays also arriving at the bar shortly. However, the light went off before the questioning could even begin and Lemmings made his appearance, dropping from the club's chandelier onto one of the bar tables. Arrays chose to detain Lemmings, but the latter quickly incapacitated the former subordinates, prompting Arrays to strike him with a broken piece of glass. Nonetheless, Lemmings paid little attention to Arrays' actions and instead seized Misaki before making an attempt to flee. This led to Polka using necromancy, conjuring up blades and skeletal hands to prevent Lemmings from taking Misaki. Although Lemmings managed to dodge the attacks due to his incredible speed, he released Misaki in the process. Fortunately, Polka managed to catch Misaki with a giant skeletal hand. Misaki then told Lemmings something before stabbing him with a knife laced with her paralyzing saliva, giving Polka enough time to come up with a strong spell that took care of the mercenary. Lemmings then reported back to Takeru Shinoyama, the president of Shinoyama Security. Polka, Misaki, and Takumi were then seen brainstorming business ideas for Polka to earn money. This is when they were provided with a business idea by the ghost Polka found in the basement and helped possess Misaki's mechanical pencil. The ghost, Hozoroji, gave them the idea to open a fortune-telling business. The idea was a massive hit and Polka raked in a lot of money on the first day itself. Later that day, Polka, Misaki, Takumi, Hozoroji, and the real Polka were visited by Polka's twin niece and nephew, Kazuki and Shizuki Shinoyama. Polka told them that they both have a future and that he'll protect them, while looking at the spirit of the ghost hovering behind the twins. Polka promised the spirit that he will go home tomorrow and protect the twins. He was then provided with information about Shinoyama Group by Takumi. The twins were then seen walking back to their car where they were greeted by Takeru. He asked them about Polka and told them to care as well so that they don't fall victim to an accident like their older sister Sakusa. Saw Polka arriving at the Shinoyama estate, with Misaki by his side. They were greeted at the door by twins Kazuki and Shizuki Shinoyama, following which Misaki introduced herself to Polka Shinoyama's nephew, Takeru Shinoyama. She explained how Polka had talked her down from jumping to her death and helped her out of many situations. Listening to her, Takeru commented that Polka might have really changed and said that he never expected him to wind up with the daughter of Sakimiya Steel's owner. The conversation then shifted to Polka's niece Seo Shinoyama talking about shark movies. Thereafter, Polka met his father, Rosen Shinoyama, and talked to him about his adventures. After listening to him, Rosen asked him who he truly was. Polka tried acting natural but Rosen held a sword to his throat, stating that he wasn't his son. He then asked where the real Polka was and whether he was still alive. Suddenly, Polka felt that Kazuki and Shizuki might be in danger and ran out to protect them, telling Rosen that he will explain everything later. Following this, a flashback showed Sakusa Shinoyama dying at the hands of the notorious criminal, No, who had conspired with a Shinoyama relative to burn down their estate. Following the flashback, an employee informed Kazuki and Shizuki that a fire had broken out and asked them to evacuate. He tried ushering the twins into an escape tunnel. However, Kazuki refused and the person attacked them. Misaki was able to intercept the attack and fought the person who turned out to be No. The twins, on the verge of suffocation, were rescued by Polka, following which he and Misaki fought against No. The criminal unleashed his flames but was swiftly knocked out by Lemmings. The relative who conspired with the criminal then found himself in the custody of Takeru, with Dragon Palace agency present there as well. The episode then showed the arsonist, No, being incinerated by the real fire-breathing bug while he was transported by police. The troublemaker also left the message, "This world is a buggy program, so it cries for the flame." Iwano and Arrays were also seen talking to Phantom Solitaire about the fire-breathing bug. Lemmings informs Takeru Shinoyama that Polka reached Kazuki and Shizuki Shinoyama before he did. Takeru asks for details. Once resituated in the annex, Rosen Shinoyama dismisses his 3 hidden bodyguards when Corpse God requests privacy. Corpse God explains that he is an otherworlder who reincarnated in Polka Shinoyama's corpse and alludes to Misaki Sakamiya's culpability for Polka's death. Misaki says that Rosen would be within his rights to kill her and that she is unafraid of him, for he is a good person. The little shark plush flings itself between Misaki and Rosen's katana and spreads its flippers wide, just as a young Polka had done for his pet albino crocodile Shiro when Rosen intended to kill it. Rosen incredulously recognizes the plush as Polka and bursts into laughter, both at the ridiculous situation and how Polka seems to be enjoying himself, since Corpse God needs a vessel of his own before he can return to Polka his body. Once she and the Polkas do, he speculates that the intermediary they mentioned is probably Lisa Kuraki, someone he would rather avoid tangling with due to the heavy hitters in her arsenal, as much as he would also rather avoid the idea of a family member wanting Polka dead. He cannot discount it, and he supposes this must be karma catching up with him. Outside the damaged manor, Polka tells Takumi Kuria over a call that he told Rosen the truth. Kazuki and Shizuki run over to thank Misaki and Polka for saving their lives. Polka replies that the credit goes to the fortune teller Corpse God and the twins' guardian angel. Before he and Misaki go check on Polka's pet, Misaki asks Corpse God if he intends to form a contract with Suzuka Shinoyama. Corpse God looks back at Suzuka, hugging the twins in utter contentment. Eventually, he replies, but not now. In Tokyo Penitentiary, Tsubaki Iwanome informs Kozaburo Arrays and the Phantom Solitaire, Tena Sorimura, that the real fire-breathing bug incinerated a patrol car and its arsonist occupant. In other words, Solitaire says, Bug preyed on a mimic. When Iwanome denies his request for another look at the Shikuzawa building footage, Solitaire decides to go see it for himself. The lights switch off. Arrays switches on his flashlight only to discover Solitaire is long gone. Under a late afternoon sky, Solitaire immediately begins plotting his comeback tour. Comps 3 assembles for an emergency meeting wherein Iwanome briefs his subordinates on Solitaire's criminal career. Fumio Yamada ushers Iwanome, Arrays, and a third Comps 3 man to the television. A familiar mustachioed news anchor is reporting on Solitaire's prison breakout despite Iwanome's media muzzle. Takumi, meanwhile, has to explain to Corpse God and Hosoroji who Solitaire is since Hosoroji died before Solitaire began his criminal spree. Misaki wonders why the news anchor's voice changed from a woman's to a man's. Iwanome flicks through the television channels with increasing alarm, for each one is broadcasting the same exact feed. The news anchor, Solitaire, removes his glasses and announces that he will resume performing a week from now, so the police ought to take advantage of their grace period. His villainous airs are undermined when he indecisively fumbles his sign-off catchphrase. Solitaire's face on the police's TV screen is replaced by the equally frazzled faces of the anchors of the news channel the TV is set to. Arrays wonders how Solitaire managed to jack the airwaves. Iwanome says he probably bought airtime from the grocer, who remains as much of a merchant in his cell as he was out of it. After the broadcast, Sorimura was confronted by the real fire-breathing bug who tried to burn him to death. However, with the help of his magic tricks and athletic ability, he evaded the fire attacks. While dodging, he talked to the bug about how waste in any form is a good thing. The end of the episode saw Seo Shinoyama arriving at Polka's place with a shark-themed sleeping bag and a bodyguard. Seo Shinoyama, having invited herself to the abandoned building as its new lodger, tells her new housemates Misaki Sakimiya and Takumi Kuria that it is nice to meet them. She introduces herself as Polka Shinoyama's niece and her attendant Xiao Yulei as a trainee butler, something she only learned today. Misaki, unlike Takumi, has no need to introduce herself since Seo remembers her from brunch. Corpse God asks why Seo has come and receives a morose, oblique reply about toasted sharks that Xiaoyu translates. Young Miss Seo's bedroom and shark memorabilia collection were consumed by the estate fire. He plays a pre-recorded video of Rosen Shinoyama asking Polka to take in Seo and her bodyguard for now because Polka's bedroom was also incinerated, and really because having 2 Shinoyamas there is convenient. The video ends. Rosen means a convenient reason to deploy his personal security in the building, that is Xiaoyu, and people whose increased nearby presence Corpse God can detect. He cannot trust ordinary Shinoyama security to protect Polka's life if a Shinoyama is the one demanding its termination. But, wonders Corpse God, what if that Shinoyama is Seo? That would simply be convenient. Misaki and Takumi leave. In the manor's front hall, Kozaburo Arrays and a spying Kazuki and Shizuki Shinoyama listen to Tsubaki Iwanome questioning a maid about the arsonist. Another maid tells the twins the men are policemen, but they disbelieve her. Iwanome, with his dyed hair, piercings, and host-like clothing, looks the farthest thing from a cop. Takaru Shinoyama, shadowed by his bodyguards Taipei and Bao, approaches the inspectors and expresses surprise at seeing them, since he thought the police finished interrogations the day prior. Iwanome says he and Arrays have come from a slightly different department bearing questions for Takaru specifically. Once the 5 have head to a private room, Iwanome names fire-breathing bug as a suspect in the estate arson. Takaru skeptically supposes that if Iwanome is being truthful, then they have seen the last of fire-breathing bug's crimes. Iwanome makes no guarantees, so Takaru makes a point of describing how anxious he has been to see the police capture fire-breathing bug ever since Bug burned down several buildings that clients had entrusted to Shinoyama security, thereby tarnishing the company's reputation. Iwanome winces at this and Takaru's follow-up. Of course, an arrest wouldn't count for much if they escaped from prison, like Phantom Solitaire, who, incidentally, caused Shinoyama Security's stock price to fall when he kidnapped the Prime Minister, not that Shinoyama Security was even involved. Takaru hopes that Iwanome can guarantee no further stock tumbles. After exiting the manor, Arrays remarks to Iwanome, of course. Takaru notes, my grandfather seems to be making moves of his own. A flashback then shows Xiaoyu's limbless body in the hospital due to him running into the Agakura on his first job. In this critical condition, Xiaoyu hears his father say he'll now serve as a Tingfu. This means that he'll be a living child whose body will be used to cultivate a poisonous bacteria. Hearing this, Rosen buys Xiaoyu from his father to use him for testing their latest cyborg technology. A scantily clad Lisa Kuraki lounges by the side of a hot tub and browses information on the Shinoyama's cyborg research on her phone. Her two subordinates, as they skinny dip in a hot tub, offer commentary. The blonde wonders if the client who requested the hit on Polka Shinoyama was not a Shinoyama family member after all, while the brunette says it would make sense to use one of their own assassins if said assassins are actually that powerful. The brunette immediately pulls her in for a kiss when she reaches the hot tub. While the two have sex, Clarissa answers the blonde's question about the Shinoyama's ties to contract killers by remarking that the Xiaoyu family is the one she hears about most. Known as the Hai-Lai, Black Lightning, the clan was forced to switch from their traditional methods to the latest Shinoyama technology. The two families' relationship, she says, is unique. In the abandoned building, Xiaoyu continues listening in on Corpse God's conversation, as he wonders what the imposter's goal is. The episode ends with Polka, Misaki, and the others preparing to open the fortune-telling business again when Iwanome and Arrays walk through the door, and Iwanome asks Polka to read his fortune.
Ivanome and Gozaburo visit their shop. Ivanome emphasizes that he comes here this time not to investigate the case, but to try divination. Since Gozaburo is not interested in divination, the corpse god performs the divination for Ivanome alone. During then, the corpse god tells exactly what Ivanome has experienced. Ivanome doesn't think he really has divination abilities, because he ties a scarf over his head. Ivanome speculates that a communication device is hiding inside the scarf. Through the communication device, Takumi provides him with the information he has gathered, but he never expects that the corpse god will control a pen and write down a very mysterious mark on the note. Ivanome is shocked. He grabs the corpse god by the collar and asks why he knows the mark. As a soothsayer, the corpse god explains that he is only showing him the way. Ivanome speculates that the corpse god may have been instructed by someone. He realizes that he was acting too impulsively and immediately lets go of him. Before leaving, Ivanome gives him a fortune as the divination fee. It is worth mentioning that the corpse god does not know the specific content of the note, and the mark was written by Hosorogi, the undead attached to the mechanical pencil. Meanwhile, Ivanome arrives at Lisa's bar and tells her about Hosorogi. Hosorogi used to be the chief of their precinct. He once told Ivanome that the purpose of the community safety division is to protect children, and the mark means something very dangerous. Ivanome mistakenly thinks that Lisa told the corpse god about the mark, and is upset that she has put innocent children in danger. Unexpectedly, Lisa denies it. Ivanome doesn't press her for more specific things. He is very respectful to Hosorogi. He vows to put the police station in order and guard the children before Hosorogi returns. A few days later, Tina's performance begins. Countless flying ships suddenly appear in the sky, all of which are painted with the mysterious mark. The corpse god recognizes the mark, which is the emblem of a destroyed empire in another world. With the appearance of the emblem, members of a mysterious organization engage in heated discussions, as if the emblem is the symbol of their organization. Unwilling to expose the organization, they immediately launch an attack on Tina. But they don't find the real Tina and only find a humanoid doll that resembles him. After the doll is attacked, Tina immediately concludes that it is the mysterious organization that wants to murder him. He is very curious about this organization, and the reason why he drew the emblem on the ships is that he wants to attract their attention. Tina's plan is perfect, and the assassination of the mysterious organization allows him to find some clues. According to the direction of the shooting, he believes that the attacker is in the police helicopter. He deduces that the mysterious organization has penetrated the police, and tells his thoughts on the live stream, offering a lot of money to collect information related to the mysterious organization from the audience. The corpse god and his friends are also watching Tina's live stream. During then, the corpse god mentions another world, which is heard by Saya. At her request, the corpse god tells her about his origins. He is reincarnated to Earth from another world, and in his previous life, he was a necromancer from Byandi Empire. After the empire was destroyed, a hero named Shagrua killed him. The corpse god then cast reincarnation magic and was reincarnated into Poka's body. He says that Poka's soul is safe and promises he will return his body in the future. Surprisingly, Saya has long seen through that he is not Poka. After listening to his explanation, she believes him for the time being, but she still can't accept the fact that Poka has been killed and decides to take a shower to calm down. To see if Saya is the one who sent someone to kill Poka, Masaki follows her into the bathroom, but Saya can tell her intention. She thinks that Masaki has always felt guilty about killing Poka, so she wants to ease the guilt by punishing the culprit. Saya comforts Masaki, saying that Poka is a very kind person and that he has long forgiven her. During the days they spent together, she also got to know Masaki a little, and she believes that she is not a bad person. Masaki feels very touched, and she becomes friends with Saya. After Saya takes a bath, Masaki officially announces that Saya is not the one who sent someone to assassinate Poka. Both the corpse god and Takumi decide to believe her. Now the most important thing for them is the emblem, which is an important memory of the corpse god, and he won't allow anyone to defile it. If the mysterious organization intends to use the emblem to do something bad, he will not let it go. After the discussion, they intend to follow Tina's words and start an investigation from the police. They hack into the police system and discover that Ivanome has caught the attention of Superintendent General Jirataro for investigating Hosorogi. After observing Ivanome, Jirataro concludes that Ivanome is just trying to find out who framed Hosorogi and decides to believe him for the time being. Considering that Ivanome is the one who knows Tina the best, he gives Ivanome the task of investigating Tina. Afterward, Tina comes to the corpse god's divination shop. He uses special makeup techniques to disguise himself as an ordinary person, and then deliberately asks about the mark to test the corpse god's abilities. Surprisingly, the corpse god really knows some inside details. He does not allow the emblem to be defiled, so he stresses that the mark drawn by Tina is wrong and draws the real one on paper. Tina speculates that the corpse god is related to the mysterious organization. Believing that it is a test for him, he does not dare to reveal his true identity and decides to leave. At this time, the corpse god suddenly mentions a girl in a wheelchair. She appears to be the guardian spirit of Tina and is concerned about what he has done. Tina isn't sure if the corpse god can really see the spirit behind him, but he is interested in the corpse god's abilities, and he decides to continue observing him. It is worth mentioning that another customer who comes to the divination shop asks the same question as him. Before leaving, Tina sees the mysterious customer. Based on the raincoat on her, he recognizes her identity: fire-breathing bug. At night, Azuma is sorting through the information he has overheard. He often heard the name Hosorogi, but he searches the intelligence network of the family and finds nothing. At this moment, a sound of footsteps suddenly comes from the roof. He rushes to the roof and meets Tina, who lands on the roof of the base and seemingly intends to do something bad. Azuma recognizes him as a wanted criminal, deciding to capture him and slowly interrogate him. What they don't know is that Takaru has been sending people to observe the base. Knowing that Tina is fighting Rasen's guard, he decides to participate in the fight as well. At this time, the corpse god is asleep, unaware of what is happening around him. He dreams of his past life. At that time, he was a necromancer in the Byendi Empire, which underwent a great change. The army was swallowed by the pit, and the home wrecker dragon fled with the general and troops. The corpse god wanted to go to the front to help, but was blocked by his master, who thought this war was very stupid. She did not want to go to the front line to help, but she would try to protect the people they know. She reminded the corpse god that they are necromancers with unlimited time. Therefore, they should cherish those who live in a limited time. Unfortunately, the corpse god ultimately did not fulfill his master's wish. The empire collapsed, and the people around him died tragically. All of this made the corpse god extremely guilty. At the end of the dream, the majesty suddenly came to him. The corpse god wants to call the majesty's name, but is woken up by Poka. It turns out that Poka is very frightened when he notices the sudden appearance of 2 lines of burning text on the wall. The corpse god checks the handwriting. He judges that it is man-made, not a prank of the ghost. At this time, he receives a mysterious phone call, in which he is asked if he is a bastard child of Sabaramon. Hearing this familiar name, he feels very shocked, because Sabaramon does not belong to this world. Though the corpse god wants some more specific information, the person doesn't reveal more. Just then, he remembers the burning characters on the wall and guesses that the mysterious man is probably nearby. He screens the people around the base and soon finds 3 men on the roof. Before the duel between Azuma and Tina can be decided, Lemmings suddenly joins them. Since Takaru has told him not to hurt Azuma, his target is only Tina. The corpse god doesn't know Lemmings' purpose, but he keeps wary of him. In addition, a girl hovering near the base also catches the corpse god's attention. Coupled with the mysterious man suddenly hanging up the phone call, the corpse god is puzzled and decides to use his ability to suppress the complicated situation. The scene then cuts to the other world. The corpse god's master mentions her apprentice to her good friend. She believes that the corpse god is very empathetic and will sacrifice all for the person and things he cares about, which, if tarnished, will drive him crazy. As it turned out, the corpse god's master really knows him well. After his investigation, the corpse god found that people who appeared near the base have all asked about the emblem. He thinks they must have some kind of clue, and he doesn't want to let any of them go, except for Azuma. Considering Azuma is Saya's butler, the corpse god secretly uses magic to help him. As for Lemmings, he is controlled by the corpse god's power and is unable to attack. The corpse god is satisfied with the situation. He then uses the most powerful necromancy spell, ready to capture everyone on the scene. Unfortunately, his current energy is not enough to suppress Lemmings, and even Tina takes advantage of the chaos to escape. In the end, the corpse god only catches the girl downstairs. Little does he know that she is most likely the fire-breathing bug. At the end of the story, the corpse god's necromancy causes a very heated discussion on the internet, and the police launch an investigation. With the emergence of various forces, the city of Tokyo is destined to be restless, which currently brings the end of the anime.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.